Alright, Titans. I think we need to have a talk about this because, oh boy. Bungie just released the article, and the article was also focused on Arc Titan in particular. And let's just say there's a good number of y'all who are not happy about this. And, well, you know what? Let's just get into the video about this already. So the main thing that happened in this latest article was basically Bungie dropping, I wouldn't say the hammer, the absolute hammer. They more like just gave a pretty significant nerf to knockout, which means that the damage goes from 150 damage to 130, and they basically nerfed the barricade's cooldown, and they nerfed its resistance or its health, so that way it's easier to take down PvP. And honestly, to me, as an Arc Titan main myself, I mean, although in the background you see me using Void Titan, but at the same time, as an Arc Titan myself, this doesn't really affect me in terms of the build and the stuff I utilize. What do I mean by that? Well, what I utilize, or what I mean is that I don't use Barricade, so that Barricade nerf doesn't really apply to me, well, unless I'm using, unless I'm using Void Titan or another Titan class, but that's a whole different subject in and of itself. But yeah, essentially I use Thruster on my Arc Titan, which means the nerf to Barricade doesn't really apply to me all that much. And honestly, there's people out there, there's already big content creators already saying, oh, Arc Titan's dead, or Arc Titan's not going to be as dominant as it used to be, or Arc Titan has time in the sun. I still believe Arc Titan's going to be one of the more dominant supers in the game, or one of the most dominant subclasses in the game, just mainly because of their kit, their toolkit in general. What do I mean by that? Well, you do remember Entei's wards. We all remember Juggernaut. We all know, Knockout. I mean, it still gives a pretty significant boost to melee range. And it's still a pretty big boost to damage in terms of the melee. 130 over 100, which is still pretty good. There's still Amplified Slide. Titans are really good at shotgun sliding. There's also, ACDC feedback fence, which no one really uses. And honestly, when they told me that ACDC feedback fence was getting reworked and it was getting buffed as well, to where it's going to have jolt damage too, I just thought, oh yeah, Spark of Instinct and ACDC feedback fence about to go crazy. But nah, in the grand scheme of things, I feel like Arc Titan isn't going to be dead. I feel like it's still going to be one of the top subclasses because there's just so much stuff surrounding Arc Titan that makes it really good. Because we all remember, because don't forget, Touch of Thunder still exists, and double storm grenades with Jolt. Double storm grenades on Titan is really strong. People just don't, I don't know why people don't utilize that or understand that. Like, lightning grenades, double lightning grenades at that can jolt targets, and you have Spark of Shock, and you can just give it infinite jolting. Like, that's just really good, and it's really powerful and potent. I've gotten multi-kills. I've had clips of getting multi-kills with that in PvP, and it's really strong at holding down his own whenever you need it. So yeah, but that's just like a general class thing. But I feel like on Arc Titan, the fact that you just get that double lightning grenade from that aspect, or fragment, yeah, from that aspect, like off the rip, is still really potent. Now, there's also other things, like the shoulder charge. Shoulder charge with blinding is still really strong. I mean, sure, it got nerfed to cooldowns where you can't do it infinitely, but you shoulder charge, you take out their shields, you get knockout, they're blinded, so they don't really have the best accuracy on you. You melee them, they're dead. I mean, that's just it. And again, with ACDC feedback fence, with the buff it's getting, it's about to get way more potent in terms of the melee builds and everything else like that. So yeah, what else am I gonna talk about here? Oh yeah, in terms of all the other things surrounding it, Syntheseps still exist. Syntheseps are still really good in terms of having a melee build. They still give you that 7-meter range that honestly paired with knockout is really strong, considering you get more melee damage when enemies are around you. There's also Doom Archers that still, Doom Archers may not be as strong as they used to be in their prime, but they're still a really good exotic in terms of like getting damage on other opponents and tagging them, and even getting those enemies that are super weak that you don't see, right in your point of field of view. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, in all fairness, I think that in terms of ease of use or just the lack of commitment in terms of build crafting to Arc Titan is gonna go down just a little bit considering they're nerfing knockout. But I feel like if you just get a little bit more creative, you can still be as effective as you could be before the nerf with Arc Titan. I just feel like it's still a very strong subclass with a lot of utility and versatility in its kit that allows you to just really just be very adaptive in regular gameplay. I mean, even if you don't need that, like, you have other things you can utilize. Like, watch this clip here.
2-for-1. Triple down. Look at them fall.
Now tell me that does not look fun. I mean, man, there's a lot of things in the Titans toolkit that are not utilized, and a lot of combinations that are not utilized enough, that people just don't play with them. All they really focus on is what's meta or what's not meta. And honestly, sometimes playing with the not meta stuff can give you the most enjoyable experiences. Like, I am having a blast using Sweet Business in these clips, and honestly, it makes me miss the old days when playing a Titan just meant, being a very big and just very annoying a nuisance on the map. And even if that's the case, now with Arc Titan, it's more try to be the most optimal thing or try to be the most optimal person or player on the field when you're playing Arc Titan, because now Arc Titan is literally the best subclass. And even if you don't use Arc or use the normal knockout, there's still other things you can utilize. Like, watch these clips that I have with my Arc Titan on AC/DC feedback fence.
Two down. 3 down. Two down. 3 down. Like a reaper. Zone C captured. You have zone advantage. 2-for-1. 3 opponents down.
So yeah, that's pretty much going to be the video. And my main message to all Titans out there is, yes, I admit that Bungie broke your or nerfed your favorite toy. Get over it. There's other things you can utilize in your kit to make yourself super effective on Arc Titan. And even if you don't want to use Arc Titan anymore, there's still a lot of other cool things on the other Titan subclasses that you can utilize. So yeah, like and comment and subscribe on this video if you like it, if you want to see more. And with that, I will be seeing y'all later. Peace.